Hello, this is Debbie with today's craft project. We're going to be making a felt pincushion, a cactus one, and it looks like this. Small little pot that's made out of felt, terracotta color felt with green cactus and brown soil. So today I don't have terracotta felt in my box, and so I'm going to do my pot out of turquoise felt, and I think that'll be pretty. I also am not going to stick with one color of green for the different cactuses. I'm going to use each section right here and do a couple of different colors to mix it all up. So follow along and see if you want to do this project for yourself at home. Okay, so I've traced around the cactus pincushion cardboard pot base on just a scrap piece of cardboard, and we will trim this. This is going to get glued down in the base once the pot is made, and it just gives it a firm foundation. The pot's going to be loaded with some rocks and then some stuffing on top of that. Then we'll glue down the brown felt that has the cactus attached to it. And I'm going to just use this circle base cushion and then just stitch up the middle of it. Instead of doing 12 pieces, I'll just do 6 of these. And I'm going to do one section just to see if it works. I need 2 thicknesses. So I'm going to lay it like that, cut out 2 at once. And again, I said this is an experiment. See if I like it. Actually, I should have just pinked around the whole thing. But I think pinking around the whole thing after you've stitched might be better. It might make it prettier. Because otherwise your pinking could get off track of one another. We'll see. So I have found this variegated floss that I'm going to use, but you could use any green floss to stitch your petals, your cactus leaves together. But I'm going to use the variegated because I'm going to be using 3 different colors of felt, so I thought that would be fun. I'm going to do a blanket stitch starting at one edge, go all the way around and leave an opening at the bottom, and then I'm going to come back and stitch down the middle. Okay. Now the other way to do that is to go ahead and stitch just a running stitch about a 1/16 of an inch in, and then take your pinking shears if you've got them, and you would pink this after you've stitched it all. You'd use your scissors to cut all the way around. There's a lot of tutorials about blanket stitch on YouTube that you could look. You're carrying the thread with you to the next stitch. So basically you go in and then you go through the loop. I'm going to show you a trick. I ran out of thread and I need to come all the way over to here. So I'm going to start again, but I'm going to go ahead and go in between the 2 pieces to begin with. And I'm going to hide my knot in there so it doesn't show. Okay. And then I want to go back over to this other stitch and loop over. I don't have very much farther to go. Now when we do the straight line up at the top, I'll try to hide the knot too, but down at the bottom, it's going to be glued to the cardboard or glued to the brown felt, and it won't show, so you don't have to hide it. Okay, that is as far as I want to go because it would be hard to get stuffing in stop. I'm going to cut it. Actually, to cut it, again, I'm going to run in between. I'm just going to tuck the thread in here and come out the outside and then cut it off. And that hides the tail of the knot inside. I'm going to stitch or make a knot at the end and just go, this we just are going to do a running stitch. Running stitch is just up and down, up and down. One thing to be careful of is to make sure that you're going in a straight line. You're going to come out at the top where you want it divided. That's pretty good. So the variegated didn't turn out as variegated as I thought it would. So again, I'm going to just knot at the top here. One more time to do a whole knot, and then I'm just going to go down inside between the two and come out and pull the thread. So then you repeat this 2 more times. I'm going to do it out of different colored. So that was the light green. There's this color green, and then I'm going to do some, maybe one, I don't know if it'll fit, probably won't fit. Yeah, so I've got the 3 different color greens. We'll do it that way. Okay, I'm stuffing this in with the bottom of the use of a paintbrush. I don't know if you can hear the thunder and rain right now. Kind of nice. If it rains right now, we get more spring flowers. Makes it easier to pull out the winter weeds too out of the garden. That's my chore for Saturday. Okay. A little bit more. It's supposed to be really tight so that the pins stick in there and stay there. We don't want pins falling out. You just kind of grab some of the stuffing, like loop it over and push it in. That's how I found the easiest way. Okay, one side done. And the other side. Again, getting it started is probably the hardest part. Okay, almost done. Yay, okay. So now we just repeat this 2 more times. Stitch it to the top and stitch it to the bottom, all 3 layers. Okay. You can see that I have all 3 of these stitched together. What I'm going to do is attach them at the top and at the bottom. I want to be able to have it look like there's the little spiky stuff, spikes hanging out at the top. And so I'm going to just go ahead and stitch my floss through here, through all 3 of the tops, and then I'm just going to string them together and knot them. And then that way, so I'm not even tying a knot in the floss, take my needle off. I'm just going to grab that like that. Do it again. 2 double knots. And I'm going to leave an end on this because I want it to look like those, again, like the spikes standing up. Okay, I'm going to repeat that on the bottom, and then we will have our cactus, like that. Okay, so now you can see that it's attached to the bottom and at the top. And now I'm going to go around and stitch some more spikies. I'm going to do that before I put it, stitch together the pot. So we've got our yarn here. I'm just going to come up through here, tie a little knot, and again, now I've seen it on some of the patterns where they've put a little bead right there on that knot and then tied a knot on top of that. So that's another idea, is to put a little bead. It almost makes it look like a little blossom, like a prickly pear blossom. See how that works? Now if I were to separate those strings, you could see how it's going to have more of the look of a cactus. Okay, so I ended up putting about 3 of the knots on each branch of the barrel cactus. Yeah, okay. So now we're ready to start on the pot. We're going to be starting the pot by backstitching 1/8 of an inch in from the edges, stitching up all the way across this seam, and then we'll turn it right side out. The reason I'm doing a back stitch is it puts like 2 rows of stitching, so it's really strong that way. I'm using the 6th strand of thread, all 6 strands. When I get to the end of this, I want to do a knot to secure it. I don't need to hide the knot at all because we're going to be flipping this right side out. Turn this right side out. I'm going to continue on with the rim. Nice thing about felt is you don't have to worry which is the right side and which is the wrong side. Both are identical. Okay, I'm just dividing this in 4ths. Again, you can see where I've marked it in 4ths. Okay, I'm going to pin this pot bottom in 4ths also. The reason being that I want to mark these. And you're just going to pin them together and work out the easement later as you're stitching. Match up the dots. Okay, so we're going to blanket stitch around the bottom of the pot. We're going to fold this in half and blanket stitch around the whole thing too. Okay, you can see that I have finished stitching around the pot. So now it's time to glue the piece of cardboard in. I'm just going to take Elmer's glue. If you don't have Elmer's, you can use tacky glue. You could use a hot glue gun. Actually, that might be the best, but I've got this right here. So I'm just going to put this piece of cardboard down in. You might want to do a dry fit. Make sure that your cardboard isn't too large. But you're going to press that all the way down. Great. We'll set that aside to dry. Then I'm going to take the rim of the pot, and again, I'm just going to do blanket stitch around the whole edge. This time I'm going to bring the knot from inside because it will show. This blanket stitch is going to be around the edge like this. The pot rim will sit like that. So it's important that this blanket stitch is going to show. So we don't want all these strings hanging out. Okay, so that's the rim all finished. Okay, I found a nice round rock. I'm going to just put some batting around it and drop it in. Make it sure that it sits flat. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and pin this in force again so we know where and when I split this apart, actually I have to do the rim and then the cactus. I'm stitching the brown soil to the pot with brown floss in a blanket stitch, going all the way around. Okay, I'm coming up on the last stitches for the soil. I think I'm just going to try gluing it with the Elmer's glue. If that doesn't hold it, I'll get my glue gun out and try it that way. You may just want to start with your glue gun and then you're ready to go. And there we are, back to the beginning. I'm going to tie a knot and run the knot down the extra thread down here and out this outside edge and trim that off. Okay, all done sewing. Okay, so then we take this and we match up the seam. We want the stitching of the brown to all stick around, but there should be this little lip, just like on a regular pot. So what I'm going to do, I think, is it says to glue it in place. So I want to be able to glue it, but not have it show. Okay, that's in place. I'm going to glue again. I'll probably have to pin this in place till it dries. Okay, so that's it. There's my pincushion. It'll dry and I can take out these pins. It says to put some pins at the top for decoration. And just show how it's going to be used. Again, go ahead and use different colors of felt. I mean, this would be cute in a hot pink, I think. Just be creative. You could use 3 different colors, or you could use all the same color. And then you could do different colored pots too. So have a good day. Thanks for joining us today. Bye-bye.